Awesome. So happy Monday. Hope everyone survived the liquidation event today. This is what, 1 billion or something? Yeah, no liquidations here. Um, it was like 1 billion or something liquidated in like just today. Um, so yes, and today is September 22nd, Monday. Happy Monday. Happy liquidation event. Um, Now, what are we looking at? What are we looking at right now, really, is the question, right? The short answer, I have all these lines. There's so many lines on my chart. I'm not going to pretend like I have a clean chart, but there's so many lines on my chart for a real reason. The short answer is it's going to be choppy as all F in the next going into the weekly and monthly close. We kind of have a weird thing here where we didn't fully retest the 709 of the bullish side on this range, which is sort of what I wanted. I wanted to see an actual pump earlier, like basically earlier in the month. We didn't have that pump. And if I would have actually been bearish, I would have shorted even more. I had some shorts, but I would have shorted even more because really what we want to see is we want to see this 4.6, 4.7 taps. This is a daily open IRL right now. What's interesting now is that we broke above previous ranges from here, right? We have, and I'll circle things so you could sort of see. So I know I have lots of lines on my chart, but we both broke above the 4.35. We didn't actually do a retest of the 4.1, and we cleared a lot of this liquidity down here, or really up here, right? We have relative equal highs that we cleared as well, and we made a wick. Now this wick, we do have a couple, little bit more. We have this is a high time from SMR. We cleared that. However, we do have range highs that kind of go all the way up, and I'll kind of move this so you guys can see. The red, yellow, orange, different colors, right? Basically, we have a few range highs that we tapped into, right? These are range highs from before. Now, if we're measuring range to range of this previous SMR up here, right, from right here all the way down to our previous low, the extension that we want to see is an extension somewhere in this zone. And what's funny is we are literally chopping in this zone right now, the 709, 705.62, right? This box right here, you see those lines? These lines is where we want to be chopping. Actually, where we want to be chopping, if anything. Because, and I'll say this with a weird caveat, because if this weekly closes below 4.4, then we're actually going to have a bullish monthly open because of the fact that we've extended past this range first, right? The liquidity to this side is basically extended past that. Which would mean that we would basically be pumping into the end of the week, right? Everyone's so bearish, X is so bearish. We have, billions of long liquidations, yada, yada, yada. Usually when that happens, the market is effectively trying to grab liquidity to go to the other side, to go to the other direction, right? And in this case, where's the bottom? Everyone's trying to fish the bottom, but it's very difficult. Another reason why I play with low leverage, and fairly wide stops. It's one of those things that you can't always get the bottom, but it's one of those things you just want to, risk manage and associate the structure, right? So from here, I would see us doing one of four different things. Choppiness, right? Very choppy here. But all four things, or three out of the four things, three out of the four probabilities brings us back to 4.3. So slightly bullish into the week, right? However, one of them brings us to 4.6. Now, if we tap 4.6 first on the daily, I would actually expect this to be a very aggressive wick. One that's very fast, one that would sweep 4.6 and then close it, and it would probably happen closer to the monthly close. So we do have a little bit of time left on this. No need to rush into anything. No need to rush into fishing bottoms. No need to rush into trying to fishing tops or shorts, whatever. This is interesting because if we can close this month below 4.4, and if we sweep the highs first, or if we sweep the highs after the monthly close and then reject, we'd actually be going still towards the open above, above, why is this line here? This line should not be here. Below 3.66. So USDTD here, very, very, very choppy. I can't get a really solid read on it just quite yet because of where we are. Oh, did you lose me? Am I still here? Hear me? I'm still talking. Okay, great, perfect. I thought someone might have lost me. But yeah, so I can't get a good read quite yet, but I do expect some sort of bullish retracement, a little bit, maybe just a tiny bit into, but we do have this one weekly right here, possibly sweeping this one high, but staying in this range under 4.6. So effectively doing something more like, I'll make these a little bit wider, right? Something like this, right? Where we want to have a little bit more dump in the market, a little bit more. If we can hold this high, then this next sweep of this range would be just to 4.5, and then we would retrace back into 4.4. Now, when we retrace to 4.4, right, there's really just two spots we can bounce. We can bounce at the 4.35, or we can bounce at the 4.1. But honestly, I really think I sort of want to see the 4.6 taken. But if it doesn't, that's fine. I'm not gonna, be upset about that. That's it is what it is. So that's enough about USTD. We'll jump into some of the other stuff. So I think I do have a Bitcoin short running as well. I started it from 116-ish, very small one. And I can delete this. This is not accurate anymore. Same as this and same as that. Now, what's weird is that, it's really what's funny about this is the fact that we are now back at range lows on Bitcoin. And it's really strange that we barely tapped, didn't even tap the bearish level, right, from this range. It's crazy. Like, people are bearish, but like this is the bearish level, 117,950. We barely tapped it. If anything, we didn't even tap it. It's not even tapped on this, right? Look at that. This wick did not touch it. I was short here either way, and wanted to just at least have some exposure, but we are back at range lows, right? We have a range low right here. We are back at range lows. Now, the same spot, if I was to measure the bullish bias for this, is actually just a little bit below us, right? So we have liquidity to both sides. And if we happen to do something like this and sweep just a teeny tiny bit lower, this would actually be bullish, guys. That's the weird thing, right? This would be bullish for this range. But warning, 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 the next pump that would come would be bearish, right? It really wants to mess with us here. If we can get the fact that we didn't tap the bearish levels first, we barely touched them, and now we're faking everyone out to the downside. We're making everyone bearish. If we sweep the low anywhere below 111, 110, we go anywhere down here, this is going to be the long. This is going to be the long with a hard stop at 107 if you want to take that, right? We swept this low already. We tapped the bullish bias here. If anything, even if we do this and then reconsolidate, if we can't close a week under 115, guess what's going to happen? New all-time high, right? So market really wants to mess with everyone right now. Make everyone think it's bearish when it's really not quite bearish here. It wasn't, it's sort of bullish, but not quite bearish, right? But what I want to see is I'm probably not going to add to my short or anything. I'll probably just TP it very soon. But for what it's worth, the main thing here is I want to see 120, wait for 120, then take the short from like 120, like 118 to 123. And then that would be the next level to go from. Awesome. So let's move on. What is some coins you guys are watching? We can go into some of them and we can go from there. Okay, Link, Ada, great. Let's jump into some of these. Aster, everyone wants Aster right now. I'm sure it's very, very hot coin, right? So let's do Link first. Now, one thing with Link here is we broke this low. Now, from this range, we tapped the bearish, right? We tapped the bearish level, so we did reject from there. If we're measuring Link from the perspective of the entirety of the range, then suffice to say, one thing that I do see with Link is considering where we closed on the weekly, I would still expect basically even if we pumped up past 22, 23, this would be a sell side liquidity take on the weekly. So the same logic applies where if we can break possibly through, I mean, there's a previous consolidation right here, which kind of makes sense to bounce from. So just literally, if I were to just mark that up, this kind of is in line with the bias of possibly sweeping one more time down and then going back up to the highs and then sweeping down again from there, right? That's kind of what I would see. I mean, we could reject from here. It could be like this and then here at 24 and then down, or it could be this and then 25 and down. But in both cases, I'm slightly neutral on Link where we are now because of how we cleared the liquidity right before $30. I'd want to see Link under 15 before I start to become bullish on it, under 15.4. So that is that. What else? Okay, cool. Let's go through the rest of the list you guys have asked. Let's look at Ada. I drew this up. I probably should have taken the short, but I didn't, which was kind of hilarious. But you know, it is what it is. Same thing applies here. What's actually kind of crazy is that Ada now has where it stopped here on this wick is literally just like perfect to take this relative equal low right there. So, and then we have a consolidation right here. So same thing applies. Effectively consolidation, wick down, up, and then back up into this range. From there, then we would dump again, right? So that would be something that I would see with Ada because we already cleared this range high, and then anything above 87 would be premium. Anything below 78 would be discount, but I definitely see here now that we probably want to see this low swept. Just on the daily. It would probably happen, right? It would probably happen on the daily close, right? Daily close, we get a Tuesday low of the week where we continue down Tuesday, and then we bounce from Tuesday to Friday, and then reject after that. So yes, that should be that. Okay, let's keep going. Aster. Aster is pretty relevant. I think I'll use the perp chart for now. I think I've had this one up here. And what's weird about this is that I wanted to short it, and there's quite a few times where I tried to get entries on the short, but it actually never came back down came back up to my short interest level. So I'm going to clear everything off. We'll start from scratch. This weekly is strange because now we closed above 50, so we actually are going to probably seek the high, which is really strange here, right? Because everyone thinks it's so bearish, but it really depends on where we close next. This daily, right, I'm going to just mark this daily up here. We have one PDA there. There's our range. So we have one, and then this one as a flat on the 8, so I'm going to mark that. And then we have one on, honestly, that's really it. So range low would be 53. Now, because it never entered my bearish bias, I'm gonna adjust my bias slightly into being slightly bullish here, right? So now, if anything, I'm looking at it in the perspective of bearish continuation. If we can't make a higher high here, there's an order block right here. This one of these should be fine. Actually, like honestly, any of those should be fine. I'm going to do an orange here, but then a previous high here. That would be right there. And then let's go in the lower time frames here as well. We have this high separated, right? So then we have one relative equal low, and then our bullish bias below us. So bearish bias is still on the 105. We have a flat on the 30. 1 hour supports it, I think. Let me just double check. 1 hour supports it. Yep, 1 hour, 2 hour doesn't, but 1 hour does. 3 hour, 4 hour. 4 hour does because it's in premium of the previous 4 hour candle. If we can't take the previous high, that should be okay. We have 1, 2, anything on the lower time frames. We have possibly 2 levels here. 1.54, 1.15. This might not be a bad short coming up, and then we take it to the long bias at the break of 1, right? So this would be here, assuming we don't break that high, and then this would be here, assuming we don't. We go back into the long bias. Then what we would have is we would have a consolidation back into premium, reconsolidation under premium, and then a break of the low back down to breaking the 1, and that would be the deviation, right? Because we'd break and mount that, and then we'd basically be breaking and making a new all-time high after that happens. But until then, I would be relatively bearish on it in the short term, just because we do have these highs that have been unsupported. One thing to note, though, is that this is a lower time frame setup. I don't know if I want to do this myself because, technically speaking, we could actually go and manipulate to the high at 1.4. So really, there's two. That's why I say this is very choppy, right? There's 2 spots. We could either break from here, right, at 1.54, or we could break from here at 1.82. And the problem, though, is that both scenarios, at this point, I do not see us going back up to a new all-time high until we get to the long bias first, right? So it's a matter of levels and structure, and what levels and structure get hit first, in what order, right? And what closures we have at what time frames. So those are the 2 probabilities I'd have on Aster. In terms of what you'd want to play, for me, this is a little too wide, right? If you are talking about a wide stop, you could do this. It's a 1.47 ish, and you could just have like layered entries and then like put your stop at like 2. But again, right, the RR on this is actually not quite good. So personally, I would just wait. I mean, it's going to come back under $1 eventually. So why not just wait for when it does, right? And then you can take it from there and just keep it simple, right? As opposed to having to manage and stress about a trade that is probably going to be, I don't know, little risky, a little crazy. So that'll be that one. I think I should just mark these down. I feel like I should mark them down somewhere. Like actually write these down. Oh, wow. Yes. Gabush, thank you. You're already marking down the ones that are requested. Appreciate that. Let's continue on. Aster, yes, everyone, I did Aster. Let's do Sui. That was another request that just came in. Yeah, so same thing here. I think I haven't done Sui in a while. This is a little outdated. That was supported bearish. And then if we measure this range, that was also supported bearish, right? So we do not have a break of structure yet. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit because I know there's a lot of lines here just to make it clear. However, this is, it did tap down here. Yeah, Sui structure does look like ADA, very similar, right? We tap down here, but then we have a higher, a lower high again. So the same thing would apply at this range, where if we can, but this is weird because this is actually a range low. We did tap into the 6.3. This is literally, I have no, literally like with Sui, this is the weirdest spot for it because you could see right between the two purple, this is our range balance. And literally price is like pretty much right smack dab in the balance. So I would say I'd want to see it under 3, right? Under 3 would be ideal to start looking to take a long in if you're curious about longs. Until then, it might just chop to 3.7 again and then just do something like this. I wouldn't be surprised if we do something like this where we break that low, chop up to 3.7 and then go right back down again, right? Something like that. And then go back up from there. So that would be, this is like very weird, a very weird spot to be in as well. So I'll put that in as well. And that would be Sui possibly into this week, right? And Tuesday low of the week, followed by the pump. Then I'm expecting possibly into the end of the month, and then the dump in October, like the real heavy dump. It's going to be much bigger than this one. Great. Let's see what's next. Oh yes, Gavoosh. Thank you. Already bookkeeping everything. Soul. Let's do that one. Yes. Great. So I had this marked out. This is kind of funny because it literally is playing teal right here. This also took the low first and now is reconsolidating at the low. Most of the charts, and to answer your question, D0, most of the charts are showing some sort of dump. Again, like a really, 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 really big one in October. Bigger than this one, way bigger than this one. And this is, 10, 20% down. I'm talking like 50% down, right? We're going to see something like that. Something like that is going to happen probably sometime in October. And again, the same thing is with Solana, same thing, right? If we do manipulate this low, have a Tuesday low of the week, break into the high again, we could even go as high as like 260. Now, the reason why I have my Sol short, I'm not going to TP it. I'm not going to change it. I'm still short. I've been short from 250. It's one of those that based on this weekly, we could wick the highs again, but it's going to get an uh-oh territory, like real big uh-oh territory if a weekly closes under 220. If a weekly closes under 220, guess what, guys? Solana is going back down to 30. That's what I'm talking about. When I say big dump, that's what I mean, right? I'm not saying like this, 5-10% dump. I'm talking absolute mega wipeage, right? So this is what I'm tracking on Solana. I would almost expect it to kind of pump a little bit because we are bouncing on the 220 right now. As you can see, price is bouncing on the daily. So I would expect Solana to kind of follow suit with the rest of the market if we do see a Tuesday low of the week, right? And we do dump maybe just a tiny bit more and then pump into the end of the month, right? We pump into the end of the month. This would be the short. This would be the add. Right now I'm low enough leverage on the short where I can just hold, and I'm going to do that. If we see another pump, if I see another pump into 250 to 260 to 270 even, I'm going to just keep adding. I have a soft stop at 270, 295. I mean, technically it's a hard stop, but for now it's far enough away, which it's a hard stop. But point being is the more we are unable to close under, or sorry, if we can close above 220 in the next 2 weeks, so we have this monthly candle right here, right? This is a quarterly short that I'm trying to do. If we can close the month under 220, or any month, if it's this month or next month, doesn't matter which month it is, then Solana is going to go down to 30, right? So that's one of the things I'm tracking. Want to keep playing that safe, right? I would expect to possibly add to it probably sometime over the next 2 weeks if we do pump again into monthly close. So well, let me take a breath for a minute, sip my water. Let's do, okay, yes, Arrow, thank you. Gaboosh, they should be paying you for bookkeeping. So what's cool about Arrow here is I was watching Arrow from before. I think it was like a couple days ago, and I said Arrow is basically, you see the two right here. It was smack dab in balance, meaning it wasn't bullish, it wasn't bearish. This is the absolute worst pace to be trading, because it wasn't either. Only now did I say, well, if it goes to the high first, I'm shorting. If it goes to the low first, I'm longing. Well, guess what happened? Look at that wick right there, right? We went into the long. We went into the long bias. We could go a little lower. We could do something like this, but we could chop around, right? We could do something like this and chop around. But what I want to see here is I want to see more consolidation. I want to see very steady, consistent consolidation where we have possibly more ranging on the 8-hour, on the 4-hour, into balance again. Another rejection, right? Another rejection, possibly above balance, right? Right above like 1.2. I'll put a little line here, smack dab, so you can see it, right? Right about right here, right? I'll make it orange. I know we have too many oranges here. I'll delete this. Actually, this is more like I'll delete that, right? I want to see something like this. I'm going to be very, very rough here because, again, as I said, anywhere in this purple box here is the absolute worst place to trade Arrow, because it's literally a 50-50 straight up gamble. You might as well just go to the slot machine, right? So what the thought process here is, we want to see, we have one wick, right? This one right here. Look at that. That was a very clean one. Very clean. It dipped right into our long bias zone, closed above. We're already above on the 4-hour. We're already in the bullish area on the 4-hour. We're already in the bullish area in the 8-hour. I think it's the same closure, right? We're already there. Okay. Technically, we don't even need to go lower than this to be bullish again. But knowing the market, knowing how, everything else of how, wild and crazy we're going to be, I'm not going to do anything until we have more range. And I would say we want to possibly wick into the 1. So even if we pump, like even if we do this into the weekly close and the monthly close, right? We go back up to 2.4. If we cannot make it above 1.23, guess what's going to happen? Boom, right? There's the dump, mid-October dump I'm talking about. Every single friggin' chart has it. There's so many inefficiencies here below on the 705, the 79. Market makers do not like to leave money on the table, period. End of sentence, right? Right? It's obvious. So why do you think we're going to go to have a new all-time high on Arrow soon when there's money on the table right here? There's inefficiencies, there's IRL from this range that can still be swept in a wick. And that's the answer, right? The answer is they won't, right? If we can't make a new all-time high, if we can't make a break above 1.22 and close it, if we can't close this, then by like the early next month, then it's going to basically be breaking to the lows again. So I'm going to readjust this one, right? I'm going to go slightly to the right here. I'll do this, right? Something like this is sort of what I want to see. The structure here is applicable the same way the structure I wrote it from before, but maybe just slightly earlier, right? So this is kind of my arrow. I would want to see a bounce from here. I want to see like some push, right? Liquidate all the shorts, all the people who are bearish on X, all the people who are bearish right now, who don't realize that we literally just dipped into the first long bias zone and are shorting. Let's let the market makers liquidate those shorts. But let's realize that once we get pumped again, we're actually going to be below balance still. We're going to be in balance. And if we can't make another all-time high, that is when we want to short, right? Not now, then, right? And then once we see this liquidation wick on arrow, we break below $1. When you see that, mark it on your chart. I dare you, go mark it on your chart, $1. And I guarantee you, you can come to me, you DM me later if this doesn't happen. I guarantee you that we break $1 at some point by the end of October. If we are not under $1, I'll pay you. You DM me, I'll pay you. Right? I'm serious. And this liquidation wick will be confluence to go long, right? And that will be the only way arrow will make a new all-time high after that, right? We need a liquidation wick to do that. What we're seeing now, this is not it. This is not the liquidation wick. This is maybe one of them, but we need more. I need more. We need more than this, right? We could close above. I mean, I could be wrong. We could close above this, sure. But I mean, that is fairly unlikely considering we only just barely didn't even break this level yet. We didn't even break the 6.2 fully. So $1 just seems obvious of a cycle level to break. And since everyone's so bearish right now, it's one of those things that, you know, market makers know that they're going to want to run the price higher into the end of the month. And then everyone starts seeing the, you know, green candles and become bullish again, and they start longing. And then that's when they'll liquidate all those longs, right? So just be aware of that. Cool. Oh, wow. I can't believe time is flying. So let's do some hype. I still have this hype short from up here. As I said for you guys, I've been shorting hype since, honestly, I've shorted it like 6 or 7 times now. I lost count. This is the most bearish structure possible because I think, as I said, on the daily and the weekly, this extension literally never touched long bias. It just, after this broke, right, it kept manipulating the highs. This is the most bearish structure basically on the market I could see right now, next to like maybe Solana and Bitcoin, right? So with hype, I'm going to keep shorting it once we do another pump. I think I just did a small TP earlier. And one of the things we want to see now is we want to see the same thing. This teal, right? This teal I want to see. I want to see us break back above 55, right? 55-ish. Once we get to 55, 56, 57, same thing, right? Literally the exact same thing I'm telling you with every single chart. We pump into the end of the month, and then if we can't make a new high, then we start closing below balance under 54 on the 8-hour. And guess what, guys? This becomes smooth liquidity all the way down, right? All the way down. If you go to the daily, right, and you go to the weekly, and honestly, like literally there's like nothing left besides, the 40, right? So here, I'm going to redraw this slightly. Really, it's going to be this. I'll draw the exact path. Where's the chart here? Okay, great. So we go Tuesday low of the week, right? And pump into previous high, possibly bearish OTE level on the daily into early October, bearish range. If we can't make a new all-time high from there, the next range would actually be 39, right? 39 on the daily. And after that point, we've already closed back in range. So again, I'm going to just keep shorting and then just keep TPing and just hold it because it's going to be an easy short to just keep adding to and then TPing on every single range closer. So this one's going to hit 30, 40, 40 break, and then it's going to go back up, retest the 50. Same thing, repeating it all the way down to 28, retest the 40, and then again down to the long bias zone, right? Long bias zone back at like under $30. So kind of what I see on hype. I'll leave this up. It's one of those easy ones that I literally have been holding this short for a while. I'll just keep TPing it and keep adding back to it on every single pump we have, because again, this was not a sustainable bullish move, right? We never tapped the long bias zones. So I will keep adding to that short. So hopefully that helps with hype. YGG. Oops. Let's see, I have about like 10 minutes left or something. So YGG, I posted my YGG as well. Literally, I got filled on all of these wicks on this wick right here, I literally have my average is down here at, I think, something like 1460. I'll put it on the chart as well. We did clear this range, but if we map this range fully, what's funny is that the 702, we're still above. We're above on the 72, the 79. I'm sorry, we're above on the 79, right? So even if we dip just a tiny bit more, I would fully expect this to start making closures back in range above 15. Every single closure on the daily above 1568, every single closure is back in range, right? We have a very clean consolidation here. We've swept all this sell side liquidity. Huge amount right there we swept. So I think my average right now is 1464 right there at the blue line. Same thing here. I would expect this range on the daily to tap the next open IRL, which is at 41. So that would be the same pump, right? The same range I'm talking about early October. And then the dump for this would be similar, right? We would have a dump here as well. I'm not denying that. But all that would be doing would probably be retesting these other range highs, right? So YGG still looks pretty good from here. I'm probably gonna keep holding on to this one, and then once we make closures again, maybe add to it. But once we like looking at the lower time frames here, right? This is a very clean take of all of this. Even this one down here, look at that. Even this one right here, that low, that was taken at 1435. So pretty clean structure already. And we have our open 3 hours all the way up here. So at the very minimum, I would expect it to then make closures above 72 and then basically chop back up, right? Chop back up to 21. And then after that, it would already be confirming the 6.2. And we'd see some sort of pop into the monthly if we can close this above 20 cents, right? So hopefully that answers your question there. And then let's see what else. Yes, I covered hype. Graphane. Cool. Graphane. I set a single limit right here. Easy peasy. Basically got filled. I'm long from here. Pretty easy. Nothing too crazy about this one. Same thing here. We need to reclaim the 7.9. If we can reclaim the 7.9, then this range is bullish, right? I have technically I don't have a hard stop, but if I start to see closures underneath this range, a wick would be okay. But if I start to see this consolidation here, then I'll probably close before my SL. But for now, I'm holding as is. Should be okay. And then I want to see this basically chop back up to on the hourly, confirm the 6.2, and then bring us back up to like 60 cents, 4 cents or 6 cents, depends on what it's going to be. But yes, that'll be that. Let's see, what is next on the list? Yes. Okay, cool. Sorry, H bar. Sorry, I was scrolling through my chat here. H bar, same thing. Its range is still, this one has a boatload of lines. I apologize in advance. I think I did this multiple times, but we rejected bearish bias here. I'll clean this up a little bit. I think I have too many lines here. I think I should just remove some of these lines and then clean this up a little bit, right? So H bar, same thing here. I would expect this to pump again and then go back down, right? Something like that. I failed to make a higher high, and then dump possibly in like later mid-October, right? Mid-October would be kind of where I see us moving. I think we want to have. Did we take this low? Did we take this low? We did take that low. Okay, so now the range high would be from here. I'm going to clean this up just a tad. right? So something like this. From here, 2, 3, and then reject down. Right, that's the liquidation wick right there. So when we do that, that'll be the time to look for longs. I think not a bad area to also possibly look for shorts, but soon. I'm not going to short now. I would probably just wait until we get into the bearish bias zone here, and then look to short between 23, 23.1 and 23 or 24 really. And yeah, that's kind of the tight range. If we are talking about wider ranges, the other weird thing here, and I'll admit this is where it gets really, really weird. If we don't reject here and we break this high, then what'll end up happening is we would actually reject up here instead. So that's kind of what I would see if we do not reject sooner, which is going to be also very, very weird. I do not like H-bar's range at all because the long bias is under 20 cents. We have not broken that yet. So this is basically, again, right, I'm going to circle this purple, right? Purple, this is the range where it is a 50-50% chance of long or short, right? It's very choppy here. So yeah, I would say if you want a high confluence short, you could probably wait for, if you want to scalp, you could scalp short from the 23, right? Or you want to wait for a high confluence short, you could high confluence short 28. With the expectation we don't break this high. If we do this first, right? If we go up to 28 first from here, that would actually be bearish, and we would still look for the long under 20 on the break of $20, right? So that's kind of where the main thing would be. Cool. I'll see if I can get through the rest of them. I only have a few minutes left. Okay, band. I canceled my band, but I did have a couple limits in the past, but I did cancel them because it was a little weird. Okay, let me clean this up a little bit. Daily, what does the daily have on this? That's weird. This one is weird. This one is definitely weird. We have 7.9, but that is not where we want it to be. That's not where we want it to be. Yeah, this one is weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We literally have it. And then this, what is this? That's not. Honestly, this one's tough because I think there's another reason why I canceled my limits on band. But there's really nothing to go on here. If it didn't, it would have needed to hold. It would have needed to hold this here, but now it's under it. So, I mean, yeah, even if it, here's the weird thing is even if it pumps from here, we would almost probably see a new all-time low again. That's the weird thing about this. Yeah, this is here. So we have lows that took the low. We have 1, 2, 3, few more lows down here. We have a couple that go basically all the way down to 58 cents, roughly. That would be roughly range balance there. So assuming that is the case, then I would want to see it break 60, 62, 60, 60. Yeah, I'd want to see it break 60, and then have this be the main range to basically retest, right? So assuming that's the case, it would do something like this. We break 60, bounce at 54, 56 to 54, and then basically go back up to like 1, and then reject from there. That would be the only like bullish scenario I could possibly see from here. Yeah, which is a little weird, but it is what it is. Cool. Pump. This chart is messy. What chart should I use? No. Maybe the spot. Oh, none of these are good. Oh yeah, here we go. This one's okay. I had this marked out from back in September, early September. Never made it to my short zone, but now I would fully expect it to go back under 0.005 if we continue ranging, right? This would be the new range here to respect if we are to support the bearish bias for continuation. So I'll clean this up a little bit. Yeah, did not tap the 4, but we did tap the -2 from the opening range. And swept this range here. So assuming we get closures there, that would be the range to reject from here. But again, this is like not a clean rejection up here. So we would have to see something like this to see a continuation. Otherwise, if we just still chop from here, then we could do this and then dump again. Yeah, I don't know. Pump is like a little weird too. I'm not a huge fan of this structure as well. I would say slightly. Yeah, the daily has some open there. That 4 to 8, the 4 and 8 have something. So yeah, it's going to basically be something like this, I think, where we basically see some sort of pump into this previous range and then reject it, right here. So into the early October. Oh, sorry. Why is my alarms going off? Sorry about that. Yeah, and then continuation, right? Something like that. Something until we get down here, and then I would be more interested in longs. Sorry, hold on. Cool. I actually need to run in a second, but I will try and do one more. I'll do cake. I haven't looked at this one in forever. Yes, okay, sorry, I was just checking something else. Cake. Oh yeah, cake is a total mess. Total mess. Look at those wicks on the monthly. Jeez. Yeah, here's a monthly close. Weekly right there. We're bouncing on. Interesting. Weekly we're bouncing on. Daily we're not. Daily, what do we got? Yeah, so here's the daily, and then from this range low, even if we're just anchoring from here, oh, this is actually super bearish though. Oh my goodness. Super bearish. Yeah. Not looking too hot. We got all this smooth liquidity to the downside here. Not looking too hot. Market. Oh yeah, this is a 1 hour candle, 4 hour candle. Market structure break. We do have one. This is a little weird. This is still a little weird too. It is still in bullish bias zone here. We have 1, 2. We'd need one more. So, yeah, this is a little weird. I don't know what to make of this one. If we go down a little bit, yeah, this is too weird. I wouldn't touch this. Personally, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole because of where it is, and the monthly wicks are just way too wild. Way too wild here. This is a bearish range on the 3-hour. I'll say this much. I would short it if it goes back above, if it goes to like 3. Yeah. Otherwise, I just wouldn't even touch it because this has smooth liquidity all the way down, all the way down. Oof. This is going to be deadly. Same thing here, and this is, again, you see the reason why I charted this a long time ago. I put 2 alerts on. This is a range, right? What are we going to break first? The 2 yellows on this range is the high and the low of the range. We are in premium right now, which is shortable, right? Short of premium, you sell in premium, you buy in discount, right? That's obvious. Above this blue line is premium. Below this blue line is discount. Whatever range we break first, either the high or the low, will be the one with the reversal, the high probability reversal on the closures back towards the other side, right? So these pumps that we're seeing right now, these are going into premium for this range. If we break this high first, it's going to be bearish. Even if we do that, right? I'll be honest. Even if we do this, it's going to be bearish because it's going to be a break of the high first. We don't want to see that. This is not a sustainable bull move. Even if we push that high, it would not be a sustainable bull move because we'd be breaking the previous range high first. Then any closures back in range would bring us all the way back down to like 1, if not lower, right? So wouldn't touch that personally. But yes, that'll be enough for me. I'll post updates later. I'll post my recording later, and have a good rest of your week. And hopefully stay green. I'll catch you all later.